Hello, dear ones. Father Peter John coming to you from lake in the middle of nowhere, Ohio, and Christ is risen. I was out here on the lake on this little boat, and I was just thinking about Saint David of Evia. Now, I know I did a video on him, I think last year, entitled The Surfer Saint. If you want to know more about his life in detail, you're welcome to go and watch that one. But I was just thinking about him. You know, when I'm out on the water, I think about saints in the water and Christ on the water and St. Peter sinking in the water, and it's just a beautiful thing. But St. David of Evia, you may recall or may not recall, was the one who, you know, he lived his life as a monk and did all God's bidding and God's will throughout his life. And as he was nearing the end of his life, the last, I don't know, maybe the last 10 or 15 years of his life, he was called to go and start a monastery on an island. And when he got to the shore on the mainland, and he looked out and he could see the island, and he needed to get across the water to the island, and he asked a certain fisherman if he'd give him a ride, and the fisherman refused. And so he said a prayer, and then he threw his cloak down on the water, and he stepped onto his cloak on the water and rowed it across the water all the way to the island. And I love the part when the fisherman sees him, he sees St. David of Evia surfing across the water on his cloak, and he calls to him, wait, I'll give you a ride, you know. But by then it was too far. He was already halfway across the inlet, and so St. David just finished. But you know, the thing about that is, of course, that when God calls us to something, he provides for us, and it's important. That's called faith, that we believe that if he's calling us to something, that he's going to provide the means to accomplish what it is that we're being called to. And St. David shows us that, as well as any of the saints. So God bless you during this season of the Holy Resurrection of Christ. Whatever it is you're being called to in your life, approach it prayerfully and faithfully, and remember that God has numbered the hairs of your head. He knows you that well, even from your mother's womb. He knows and loves each one of us, and will provide for us to fulfill whatever it is that he's calling us to do. So God bless and protect you. Christ is risen. Indeed, he is risen.